is interference. So basically, interference is this: if I'm trying to talk and then something else is interfering. But what does that actually mean? According to a website, wave interference is the phenomenon that occurs when two waves meet while traveling along the same medium. The interference of waves causes the medium to take on a shape that results from the net effect of the two individual wakes upon the particles of the medium. So pretty boring, I know. So really not fun to talk about. So basically how it works is there's two waves, right? And they're just going, back and forth between each other. It's kind of like ping pong. They are just reflecting off each other. So just think about kind of how like light would reflect off a window and stuff. But imagine like two waves just colliding and then they start reflecting off each other. That's how it would work. So it's no really disappearance of how of energy whenever there's an interference, even though there could be stuff like destructive interference. It's not really how that works. Yes, there are different types of interference. I probably am not going to get into it because that's not really important. Let's just say you have noise canceling headphones. I have Beats. They work pretty fine. I'm not trying to flex on y'all. I have Beats. They are pretty good for noise cancellation. Not the best, of course, but uh, for example, like you can turn on and off the noise cancellation feature. Once you turn it off, it will start. Now you can start hearing, a bunch of noise going in there. But when you turn it on, when you turn the noise cancellation on, then you won't really hear basically anything. So how can I put it like this? Okay, headphones, noise cancellation headphones will basically destroy the waves, quote unquote, will destroy the waves. So basically, no waves will be able to reach your headphones. So that's how it works. In music, the beat is a basic unit of time. Whenever this is applied to music, this is used clearly to get the music on beat, get the music on timing. Because any if it was off timing, if it didn't get to the right place at the right time, it would sound weird. It would sound awkward. It wouldn't sound right. We could pick that up in our ears. Pharrell Williams likes to use this a lot in his songs in the beginning. Just listen. So, one of my favorite movie franchises is Star Wars, and one of the scenes that reminds me a lot about how the music plays a big part of how we perceive stuff and how we emotionally feel in a scene, thanks to the music, would be the second movie. In Star Wars, The Attack of the Clones, Anakin goes out to find his mother because her mother got kidnapped by these, sand aliens. And then uh, Anakin's driving along trying to find his mother. He finds his mother, but he doesn't kill anyone on the way there because, like, he's a Jedi. He's not supposed to kill things, right? Well, he finds his mother, really poor shape. His mother dies on him. It's not a good thing, right? Anakin, you can hear the music go from like mellow, like, oh my gosh, I found my mom, to this sad, sad, sad music. And then right after he realizes that his mother is dead, that he's coped with it, he just goes on this I need revenge, mother. Like, this is the first time we've ever seen this man, turn to the dark side, at least in the movies. So, you know, the music really plays a part in that. If you didn't get it then the music is like really foreshadowing his turn. At least this is what marks the event of him, going towards the dark side and using the dark side a little bit more. And I think it's really interesting how Star Wars likes to use their music. So now I gotta talk about auditoriums. All right. So whenever you're on stage, you gotta be heard by literally everybody, right? So how do engineers get that done, right? Well, first we gotta talk about how they're made. So obviously, they need to have a lot of people in the room at the same time. They also need a lot of people, everybody, to be able to see the whole thing, right? So they gotta make it elevated. They gotta have a bunch of lights. They gotta make sure everybody can fit in. So they have sloped floors, which is basically just going up. They can be able to go up and up and up. Fixed seats that can't really move. They have special lights so that everybody can see. Lights for the audience, lights for the production, lights above, lights below, literally wherever you can put lights at. They have special lights for those. Um, they also have a special acoustical design so that the sound can stay in. Some sound can stay in, but not a lot of sound, not too much echo. You know that would distract the audience from the actual performance. So they do have a special way of making these auditoriums. It's very interesting. I like how these look. They have to make the ceiling a certain way. They have to have the walls a certain way. Everything is built very meticulously. And just for increased comfort, they have increased cooling capacity just to make sure, because it could get hot in there. They have some materials and finishes, to make it look clean and also ensure an overall healthy environment. They have raised floors so that more people can, you know, more people can see, and it does make it is recommended to have sometimes depending on how it's made. um, and of course, they do need to have some fire and safety precautionaries. Of course, and they have a lot of materials, bro. The space required is actually a lot for like, a, you know, not only not only for like the restroom, but like for the lobby, and a lot of stuff. There's some blueprints that I found. It's pretty interesting how they do it. And it's kind of interesting. That's kind of how like a sound wave is. It goes all over the room and whatnot. And I think it looks pretty cool. So, with that being said, engineers have to figure out, okay, well, if they're going to have, like, let's say, a play going on with multiple speakers speaking at probably the same time, or an orchestra where they're all singing, the same time the whole way. So, in that case, the orchestra, they don't really have to worry about it too much as long as it's not too loud. They don't have to focus on the sound waves, but if it's going the other way, then they need to adjust. They need to adjust for the distribution of sound. That way the audience can hear both people. The reinforcement of the desired sound, and not having other sounds take control of the play. Background noise too. Background noise also, they want to lower that as much as they can so that way you can hear the speakers. Not only for orchestras, but for basically anything. They don't want any background noise. The lowest it could be, the best. They don't really want anything to take away from the performance, right? And reverb is actually pretty interesting. Reverb, makes it, it can make it echoey, or it could be like a jumbled mess, like it'll be too much echo. But if you get like the perfect sound transmission, it'll make it really smooth, and that way, like everybody can hear that too. So they really have to adjust for that, in case it's multiple. If it's like a movie theater, of course, they have a bunch of soundboards and stuff, just to make sure. They have a bunch of equipment just to make sure that everybody can get the same amount of volume, and everybody can feel the same impact. Because you know what I mean. Like if you feel an explosion, if it don't feel like there was an explosion that just took place, it's gonna be like, okay, you just heard the explosion. But sometimes they also want you to kind of experience it yourself as well. So I don't know. I kind of just went on and on. In Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Anakin goes ape. Alright, he tries to kill Obi-Wan after turning to the dark side, killing a bunch of his friends, his homies. He fights Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, of course, beats the hell out of him. Well, he doesn't beat the hell out of him. Literally cuts him in half.
Don't try it!
They have this little speech, and I think that without the music, it really cannot encapsulate how tragic this is.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
Not only for these two individuals, but for the rest of the universe. It really is tragic. That's what it is. This whole scene sounds so tragic. And if it didn't have the background music, it would just sound like dead. But the scene doesn't really need to sound dead. It has to sound emotional. It has to have that, you know, not that sort of resolution, but the lead up into the next, three movies, because it would just be like a, like a really bad taste in your mouth without the music. But the music really brings everything home. And I think that, when I was talking about how the explosion, you get the impact of that. I think music really does have impact with that too. Like without the music, there is no impact. You just feel you just like, damn, okay, you got cut, and then it's sad, but there needs to be an element. I think Star Wars does a really good job of this because there's some times where they just don't have to put any music, and then there's sometimes where they really put some subtleties into the music, some emotion, really bringing it home. And then sometimes the music just really makes your jaw drop. Like, damn, that sounds cool, right? The beat also plays a key role in this because without the beat, the timing would be off. It would not sound right, especially when you're trying to encapsulate this whole thing. You need to get a rhythm going until like the last moment where the music kind of stops. The music has to stop or come to a resolution. So yeah, that's my project.